Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's the commish, back here with another weekly preview. This time it's week 3, and the LOC is kicking off full tilt. First matchup there, it's myself, 2-0, taking on Sean and Fallen Misfits, 2-0. Easily could have been game of the week. Probably the only reason it isn't is just because there's another good game, but when I look at the lifetime matchup between these two, 2014 Sean got the best of me, 2015 I got the best of Sean, 2016 Sean got the best of me, 2017 I got the best of Sean. We didn't play last year. It's 2-2 lifetime matchup, and obviously a rubber match game here. So for me, the big one I'm looking at, for me, Odell Beckham's a primetime guy. That's who he is. He comes out, he balls out on primetime. He's going to, again, on Sunday against the Rams, I predict. I think it's going to be more of a shootout than most people predict, because I just see it going that way. Whereas, I look at Sean's lineup. He's got Le'Veon Bell heading into New England, a team that's only allowed 3 points, the clear-cut Super Bowl winner. And, we already know who the Super Bowl champion is this year. It's the New England Patriots. There's no sense watching the Super Bowl. We can watch the rest of the season, but just not the Super Bowl, because we already know it's been decided. But anyways, I'm going with myself here. I have my feeling that Le'Veon Bell just doesn't put up big numbers, and Odell does. Next up, True North, 1-1, taking on Eric and Swahino, 1-1. First meeting between the two. Swahino's obviously first year, taking the Grace. This is technically a rematch of last year's final. Swahino was Mr. Longyard, and we've seen what happens to Mr. Longyard and how he conducted his business as a team and what happens, and Swahino has this team this year. But look out for Swahino next year. I know that. And the reality is that he's straight gold with Lamar Jackson. This guy looks like he's for real. For True North, Adam Humphries, got to consider him a bust. He had some pretty good preseason hype there. He hasn't lived up to expectations. I'm still going True North here, winning this one. Next up, got Storm, Krista, 0-2, taking on Luke, and Too Good for a Name, sitting at 1-1. 1-1 lifetime matchup here, 2017. Krista won last year. Luke got Krista. And for Krista, fly like a bird. Picking up Demir Bird. This guy's getting a bulk of the snaps in Arizona. Who would have thought? Got him on waiver wire. So turning out to be a good pick. And, you got to look at Luke. Well, Michael Thomas's fantasy value dropped now that Drew Brees is out for 6 weeks. I think it does, but obviously Too Good for a Name's going to win this one. He just has a stronger lineup than Krista. Next up, got Unique and Ellie Island sitting at 0-2, taking on Adrian and the Age Crew sitting at 0-2. First meeting between the two. Age Crew's first year, obviously. Adrian almost hit 200 against me. I thought that was pretty good. And, looking at this matchup, it's a true 17 versus 18 seed. Two teams that wouldn't even be in the consolation playoffs. So, and, you look at Ellie Island, Big Ben goes down. Your starting quarterback, that's all you need. You're sitting in whatever place, 18th. And your starting quarterback goes down, and then, for you got to consider A.J. Green can't come soon enough. I originally had Ellie Island winning this one, but after Big Ben went down, I think it's going to cost her. I'm changing this to Age Crew after what he did to me last week, and Age Crew getting his first win in the LOC. Next up, I got Lucas and Green Lightning, 1-1, taking on Matthew and Cape Cod Sharknado at 0-2. Last year, Matthew got the better of Lucas, and I don't think it's going to happen that way this year, and for a number of reasons. I look at Matthew and Alvin Kamara, a lot of people saying his stock might go down. Maybe it goes up. Maybe he gets more carries, or maybe Latavius Murray gets more carries, but it'll be interesting to see what happens to Kamara moving forward for Matthew this season. And then for Lucas, Daniel Jones comes in as the savior at just the right time. You started Simeon last week. We saw what happened. It was a disaster. So Daniel Jones will start. I noticed you have some injuries, though. Deshaun Jackson will be out. I think this one's going to be tight, but I think Lucas is going to win it. I think Daniel Jones has a good debut, and a good enough debut to get Lucas a win. Next up, I got Robert and Templars. He's 0-2. He's taking on Danny and Billsy Bob's 2-0. These teams faced each other 3 years ago. Robert beat Billsy Bobs, and they haven't played since. So that's only the second meeting. When I look at Danny's team, Austin Eckler's been pure magic. And I think Watson's going to be this week as well against the Chargers. I just have a funny feeling that game's going to be a shootout in L.A. Templars, he has the Patriots defense. 43 against the Dolphins. Might do the same thing against the Jets. And Luke Falk, 6th round pick out of Washington State. So that'll be interesting. And then, I originally had Templars in this one. I'm going Billsy Bobs just because I do think he has enough with Watson and Eckler and others over Templars to win. Templars also has Michael Gallup out of the lineup, so that's going to hurt him as well. Next up, I got Norman, Canadian guy, 0-2, taking on Milan in the 6th, going, he's 1-1 right now. First meeting between the two, obviously Norm one and done here this year, but he might be back, you never know. Norm pulled off a great trade for this franchise, though, the one that he has set up, getting Mahomes. He is the next superstar of the NFL. I can't believe he was traded. This guy is for real, and he's exciting to watch. He makes the Chiefs exciting, and I'm sure, the rest of North America, other than outside wherever the Patriots fans are probably going to hope for the Chiefs against the Patriots. The next thing I look at for the 6, is Barkley's value going to go up now? Eli Manning, finally they're saying he's done. I think it's the right move. Clearly, they tried to do the right thing and let the guy retire on his own, but clearly the franchise had to do what was best for the Giants. And I think because of that, the 6 wins this one and goes to 2-1, and Norm will fall to 0-3. Next up, I got Dusan and Subotica Spartans at 2-0, taking on Suze and Fighting Geese at 1-1. First meeting, obviously, between the two. Dusan's first year. It is the only divisional game this week, and it's a good one for sure. When I look at Subotica Spartans right now, he is the division champ on paper, but remember, because he took the grace, the money would be divided or go to the second place if that were to happen. I'm looking at right now for Suze, no QB with Drew Brees out. You thought you were going to put Eli Manning in, and now he's not going to dress, and Alshon Jeffrey also out for you. So some concerns for you. I originally had you in this one. I'm going to change that pick. I'm going to go to Subotica Spartans to stay 3-0 and have a blistering start to his LOC career. Next up, another beauty. It's going to be Ryan and Deuce Bombers sitting at 0-2. Who would have thought? Against Joshua and Life's a Mitch at 2-0. These teams 1-1 lifetime. Joshua 1-0, Ryan 1-0 in 2017, Joshua in 2016. I'm looking at this one. Is Minshew going to have to start for Life's a Mitch? At the time of this recording, Cam Newton might be out. And that would mean you would have to turn the ball to Gardner Minshew, and you'd have to do it before the Thursday nighter. So, interesting decision on your hands there, Joshua. Obviously, with the injury up in the air for Cam Newton. I'm looking at Deuce Bombers. Is Wentz's value going to drop considerably with Jeffrey and Jackson out? It'll be interesting to see there. Also, when I look at Deuce Bombers, David Johnson, obviously, and Mike Evans, you'd have to say haven't lived up to expectations so far. We'll see if those guys can turn it around. I'm going Deuce Bombers. I originally had him. I'm going to stick with it. But if Deuce Bombers falls 0-3, it'll be interesting to see if he'll start selling. And then the last game here, guys, game of the week. It's Brian and the 12th man, 2-0. Taking on the Architect and Brandon 2-0. 1 versus 2, a true 1 versus 2 here in the standings after only 2 weeks, week 3 here. How exciting does it get? I think this one's going to be a beauty. It's going to be going down right to the wire. And there's a few things I'm looking at here. For Brandon, you got to look at this huge advantage. Dak versus the Dolphins defense. 59 and 43 scored on them so far. And it is in the Big D in Dallas, Miami's first road game. Who knows how much Dak and Zeke are going to put up in the Big D. But then, I look at Brian. He's got Rivers versus Houston at home in L.A. I think that one's going to be a shootout. I just have a feeling it's going to be Watson versus Rivers. So I think that'll be a work in Brian's favor. that's going to be a tight matchup. I look at just the balance between both of the lineups. Both teams have proven to obviously put up big numbers so far. With the Architect putting up over 300 in week 1. I had the Architect originally, and I'm going to stick with the Architect. Although, I was leaning towards Brian, but I originally had the Architect, and I'm going to stay with an original pick just because I had changed 3 picks from what I had originally with obviously injuries and everything else that's happened to each team. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a lot of fun with this. I know I am, and I look forward to seeing the results at the end of week 3. Have a good week, everyone.